Hello YouTube, I'm Jack Clark, the Musketeer, coming to you with a deck profile of my Vylon deck. Now I'd like to apologise first. I did say in my previous video that I was going to do a deck profile on Fables. But, of course, the same reason why I made Fabled Shango for that Create a Card Monday thingy on Underdog 667 channel is the same reason why I'm not doing the Fabled. They're fucking inconsistent, and I rather use my Vylons simply because they can be inconsistent, sometimes just not as much, and also the individual pieces aren't completely useless in battle like the Fable. But yeah, I'm going to go through the deck choices, I'm going to go through some of the combos, yeah, I'm going to forego the explanations of the staples though, because I have tried so many takes of this video, doing like 14-minute videos, and I haven't even gone into detail with these staples, so I'll try and make this as quick as possible. Of course, the deck list is as follows. We've got 2 Vylon, 1 Gorz, 1 Honest, 3 Photon Thrasher, 1 Sangan, 2 Summoner Monk, 2 Trident Warrior, 3 Vylon Cube, 2 Vylon Prism, 1 Vylon Stella, 1 Dark Hole, 2 Mage Power, 1 Mind Control, 1 Monster Reborn, 2 MST, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Vylon Component, 1 Vylon Filament, 3 Vylon Material, 2 Vylon Matter, 2 Vylon Segment, the Solemn Brigade, and 2 Torrential Tributes. I would go over the extra deck, but I'll go over those in time. Of course, we've got the staples, so I'm not going to go into those, but Vylon Thrasher, very, very good card, one of the pillars of this deck. You'll use this mainly for synchro summoning. Most of the time you'll special summon him with his effect, summon a cube or a prism, and you'll be able to go for an instant Sigma, Epsilon, or Ancient Sacred Wyvern, depending on your situation. And it is amazing. I mean, as soon as turn 1, it's got the Cyber Dragon-esque effect, but of course, as soon as turn 1, you can summon it because you don't need to even account for your opponent's monsters on the field. You can just special summon it as long as you don't have any. Of course, you won't be able to attack whilst you control other monsters, but you'll be synchroing it most of the time. But of course, you can special summon it, bait out a Rai-Oh's effect, or if he's already on the field, then your opponent can't reliably use Rai-Oh because it will just get destroyed anyway. So it obviously helps protect your synchros, your future synchro plays, and of course 2100 attack points. Very, very useful. Use this card. Of course, next we've got the Summoner Monks, which are very, very useful. You use Summoner Monk, get rid of any of your Vylon equip spells, most likely, and then you can summon a Prism, go for an instant level 8 Synchro. Most likely you're going to go with Epsilon, because then you can equip it with the Vylon Prism, and then you have instant fodder for Epsilon's effect, allowing you to get rid of the Prism or any of your other equipped spells to destroy one of your opponent's monsters. So think of him like the Scrap Dragon of the Vylons. However, of course, like the Scraps, if you get rid of one of their equipped spells, then you get to search with their equipped spells effect. So just like you'd be able to search for another Scrap monster when they're destroyed, you get to get a Vylon equipped spell. So these, the Vylon equipped spells, is what makes the Vylon deck work. Of course, you would have thought, an equipped spell deck, they don't work, they're rubbish. You overextend and they're rubbish, easy to get rid of. And they do, except these search for more pieces, which means you don't lose any advantage when they're destroyed. So I can, first turn, I can summon a cube and equip it with a handful of Vylons and be okay, because not only will it most likely give it a little bit more attack, or maybe it will probably get destroyed, but it means I can search for more stuff, like Vylon Matter. Now Vylon Matter, of course, allows me to recycle 3 equipped spells in my graveyard back to my deck and destroy a card or draw a card. Of course, the draw or discard, or draw or destroy, happens upon resolution, so your opponent cannot Stardust Dragon it, which is fucking amazing. So useful, and I've had so many people say, you are going to use my Stardust effect. No, bitch, put it down. And, of course, very good for recycling your other Vylon equipped spells. So, of course, let's go with Trident Warrior now. My Trident Warrior is one of those personal preferences. You can of course use Vylon Hept. I prefer Vylon Hept, but I'm also going to explain Trident Warrior as well. But Trident Warrior, you can summon it, and you summon a level 3 monster from your hand. So you can get a cube or a Stella, go for an instant level 7. Now, of course, you'll use Vylon Hept or Trident Warrior depending on the synchro that you want to prioritize, Epsilon or Sigma. If you want to prioritize OTKing with Sigma, then you can use your Trident Warrior. If you want to use your Hept, then you can control the field with Epsilon a bit more. Of course, most people like to go with the Epsilon simply because it's a much more, it's a much safer choice. It allows you, it's got more attack points, and you can get rid of your opponent's troublesome cards whilst Sigma is very, very good at just ending games and dealing massive damage. I'm trying out the Sigma build, so of course, summon Warrior, summon a Cube, and you can instant Sigma, which is very, very useful. But of course, Hept, Hept's also got 1800 attack points and is also another target for the Vylon equip spells, so you can pick and choose between those, but they're both very adequate choices. Next off, we've got the Vylon Tuna Monsters. We've got Cube, Prism, and Stella. Now, Stella and Prism work in the same way, in that when they're sent from their monster card zone to the graveyard, you can pay 500 life points, and you can equip it to a monster on your side of the field. Now, these are the Tuna Monsters, and notice how they say if. So these guys don't miss the timing when used for a frickin' Synchro summon. How many times do I have to tell people this? I summon Thrasher, summon Prism. Go for Epsilon. I can then equip the Epsilon with Prism for 500 life points and then use its effect. Same applies to Stella. Always keep this in mind, and always be prepared to explain to your opponent ad nauseum why they're wrong and why you should just equip your card. Of course, now we've got the spell cards. Of course, we've got Mage Power, which I really like, and I think 2 at least is staple. However, some people don't like using Mage Power at all in Vylon decks, simply because you can't search for stuff with it, and of course, when it's destroyed, you -1 yourself. But the fact that it gives your monsters so much more attack points makes it all worth the while. I mean, I'll summon a Sigma, equip it with a load of Vylon stuff, attack, and then equip it with a Mage Power. And that's ridiculous. I'd be able to do so much damage with this card. It's also searchable via Cube, which makes it even better. So, of course, you'll get +1s from the Cube, so it will turn into a 0 if it does manage to get destroyed anyway. Next, I'm going to explain the Vylon spell cards. Ooh, so we've got Component and Filament. I've got 1 copy of each of those, simply because they give me more options. Of course, you can pick and mix your Vylon equip spells to your liking. However, I always like to have 1 Filament and 1 Component, simply because Component, I can use it alongside Sigma. So if I want to OTK with Sigma, but my opponent has a defense position monster, then I can equip it with Component, and I'll be able to use piercing damage. Filament, I can equip it to any of my Vylons, when, for example, I'm not very confident with their back row, so I can equip Filament and attack without any worries. I've got 3 materials simply because 600 attack point boost. You can equip it to a Prism, and it will have frickin' 2100. Or if you're using Hept, it will have 2400. I mean, it's a very, very good card. And of course, all of your Vylon equipped spells, including Segment and all those, when they are sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to search for another Vylon spell card. Of course, it means you can kind of have a gadget effect searching for your Vylon equip spells, but what you'll most likely be doing, depending on the situation, is you'll be searching for Vylon Matter. Now, Vylon Matter is not an equip spell, but think of it like their Pot of Avarice. You can recycle 3 equip spells in your graveyard back to your deck to either draw or destroy a card on the field. Very, very good card, simply because you got of course, the draw or the destroy. Now, they both happen on resolution, so if your opponent has a Stardust Dragon on the field, you can destroy it via Vylon Matter, and they cannot negate it with the Stardust Dragon, because it happens on resolution. They can't stop it. Very, very good card. Very good for recycling all of these, and it is searchable via these. Very, very good. And of course, we've got the Vylon Segment. The Segment is probably one of the most underrated Vylon equip spells ever. Now, it is so good! Oh my god, it was very, very good protection. Any trap cards or effect monsters that target, then they can't target, basically. So, of course, it can't stop Insect or Hornet, which is so annoying and would make it amazing if it could. But, of course, it'll stop Rai-Ohs, it'll stop Dimensional Prisons, it'll stop a lot of stuff, and it's very, very useful. So, always use these. I like to use 2, some people like to use 1, some people don't like to use it at all, but I always use this card. Of course, we've got the trap lineup. Now, with the trap lineup, I'm going for minimal, but still very good. I've got my Solemn Brigade and the 2 TTs. However, some people like to use less of them, some people like to use Royal Decrees for added protection, but some people like to go even less and use Treacherous Trap Hole. I don't like Treacherous Trap Hole anymore. I used to use it, don't like it anymore. I like having more options, and I like having these options as opposed to the added protection that Royal Decree can give me. Of course, I've got stuff like Filament, I've got MSTs. I'm pretty confident with the protection that I have. But of course, if you aren't and you still want to use trap lineup though, you can always use stuff like Release Restraint Wave, which allows you to get rid of an equipped spell to destroy your opponent's face down spells and traps. Think of it like an additional Heavy Storm, but you can use it on your Vylon equipped spells and search with them, so more pluses for you. But yes, of course, Epsilon is the level 8 one, you get to summon it, and it's like this Grap Dragon. Sigma, you get to OTK with. Alpha, of course, you can summon it, but you're most likely, if you're using Instant Fusion, that's how you'll be summoning Alpha. So you want to keep that in mind, but he is still a very, very good card. And there have been times when, oh no, my opponent's got a Kaios on the field, mind control it, summon Cube, go for Alpha. Those are fantastic moments when my opponent was like, what are you sinking for? Miss Worm needs 3 materials. Aha, bitch, please, I got Alpha on your ass. I need to stop talking like that. But yes, that is pretty much my Vylon deck. Actually, no, I'm going to go through Ancient Taken Wyvern because this thing's amazing. Use this in any deck which you use a light Tuna and can summon level 7s. It is amazing. In the situations where you want to summon a Sigma, but you also have other monsters on the field, summon Wyvern. As long as you've got more life points than your opponent, you'll have the same OTKing capacity as you would with Sigma. So always keep that in mind. It's my favourite card. It is really, truly my favourite card. And an amazing card at that. So, of course, that's pretty much it. That's my Vylon deck. If you have any questions or whatever, then you can put those in the comments down below or as a video response. I'm Jack Clark, the Yuga Musketeer. More videos out to you soon. Goodbye.